Hey YouTube, so we're going to talk about, or I'm going to talk about some things that I felt like needed addressing through a vlog. I've addressed a couple of these things in my community tab in the past like month or so, and I felt like, I maybe needed to get a couple more eyes on the subject matter. Before I go into anything, and I'm going to get all the crap out of the way first, then we're going to talk about the very cam at the end here. So if you want to just like scrub through that, it's fine. But I'm just gonna get into it. So let's just get the shit out of the way. First and foremost, I think the best way to start this is to understand that I am no stranger to bullying. I am no stranger to indifference. I'm no stranger to coming to that conclusion that each and every one of us should come to, which is that you can't impress everyone and not everybody's going to be your friend. And it doesn't matter where your heart is or how empathetic you are or how pacifist you are or whatever. There's always going to be people with a negative opinion about a certain individual, and they're gonna do what they say when they want to say it, when they want to do it, whatever the fuck. Like they're just gonna be an ass. Like they're gonna be who they want to be. It kind of falls in line with an older vlog that I believe is on this channel where I was talking about like don't let anybody else dictate how you spend your time and money as a filmmaker. Go and buy the camera that inspires you to want to go and create in the first place. That type of mentality. Always put yourself before others in that regard, and especially when it comes to your art. Don't create for other people. Don't, which this will tie in with something else that I want to talk about in a minute. Don't feel like you owe anybody an explanation in terms of why you shot it with what or how you did what. At the end of the day, you do what you feel is best, and always be kind to yourself and always be honest with yourself. That's like the number one thing that I live by, is that in terms of my efforts as a filmmaker, I don't owe anybody anything. I did all of what I've done so far the last 26 years myself. I'm a self-taught filmmaker. I spent 2 half-assed years in film school in my mid-20s. Didn't fucking get anything out of that except a couple friends that I care about. But like in terms of technical knowledge, I didn't get anything from my time at film school. It was a fucking waste of money. That's just my experience. I'm not saying all of film school is terrible. It could work for you. But I'm kind of, I'm just at this point where what I wanted to address was that there was a very mild, bordering on innocent level of bullying. I feel like that's an oxymoron, innocent bullying. That doesn't make sense. But somebody last March, when I posted a video about me being, my initial reaction to the merger of Red versus Nikon, I was upset. I had just recently invested in a Red system again, and I felt like in that initial response that Red made a bad move. And since then, obviously nothing has really taken shape except for a couple price drops and little things like that. But like Nikon hasn't really done anything like radically monumental to shift Red, So obviously it's not as bad as what I was expecting it to be, which a lot of the times that's what happens. But I wanted to capture my initial response. And there was a gentleman on a message board that I'm not affiliated with. I'm not a user on there, called EOS HD, that took what he probably considered an innocent jab at me due to my reaction of the merger, saying that my reaction was hilarious and comical and whatever else. And listen, I'm no stranger to people imprinting their judgment on me like that, as most of us aren't, but I have gone through serious waves of bullying, especially when I was younger. I understand that I'm not the status quo, like just my haircut should say enough in that, I'm not, I don't do things by the book. I'm into a lot of older things. I'm very nostalgic by nature. I'm kind of a quirky character, whatever. I don't fit the mold, right? And a lot of us filmmakers, I feel like can be processed into some kind of like divergent triangle like that of like, he's a little different. And all artists are like that because a lot of us are neurodivergent or on the spectrum or something. Like we're very unique individuals, but our uniqueness for some reason, especially in a competitive world like filmmaking, which I don't seek any competitive drive towards any of you or trying to be better than anybody. I'm just trying to be the best version of myself. I've never considered myself competitive in that regard. And what I deemed as being competitive when I was a teenager, that was just competitive drive, that it was insecurity masked as competitive drive. That's all that was. It was me being an insecure teenager, and I thought I was just being competitive, but I was just, as a lot of us in the teen times are, very insecure. And I wanted to, all this rambling, I wanted to basically say, treat yourself and others with respect, especially in a public setting, okay? I am not here saying that I expect everybody to get what I do, to appreciate what I do, and to respect me. That, if any human being, especially any American, which I feel like that mindset is a lot stronger here in America, if any of you think that that's the way life is supposed to go, you're fucking dead wrong. And while I respect the man being given the freedoms to say whatever the fuck he wants to say, in terms of just my moral code, I would never do that to any of you, okay? It's one thing for me to be nervous about a company merger, right? And I apologize, my rabbit's having a sneezing fit right now. It's one thing for me to share my opinions about like why my initial reaction is, I don't think this is a good idea. I'm nervous. I was saying things that a lot of people were thinking. There were a lot of people that didn't mind the merger between Nikon and Red. And then there were quite a few people just being like, what the fuck did Red do? And I was in that boat initially and was like, what did they do? Why the fuck did they do this? I have been somebody that has never really been a huge fan of radical change, just in general. I'm that type of personality where I like my routine. I like the way things get done. And then every once in a while, I'll break the routine and explore something new and then make that my routine. It's just the way my brain works. It's how I compartmentalize and organize and figure everything out. And on that note, the other thing that I needed to address in this whole rambling speech, I know I'm massive ADD today, I'm sorry, is I wanted to address the fact that I understand that there are a lot of you that came and subscribed and are strong-willed on this channel because you're waiting for the moment that I let the cat out of the bag and I tell you guys how I shoot, edit, and deliver mini DV, especially in the remastering era of DV that I'm in right now, getting all my older stuff up. And while I am unbelievably humbled at the level, the mass of emails and comments and everything of people really interested in how I make my stuff look the way that I do, I needed to set the record straight and let you guys know that I am in no way, shape, or form interested now or maybe ever sharing that. And I need you guys to try to be able to respect that. And if you can't, I completely understand if I lose your subscription. I completely understand if I, now my other rabbit's snoring. Getting through this, having ADD and having animals making noises around you is like, ugh. But, I'm not planning on ever sharing my process. And I completely understand if that just pissed a lot of you guys off. I truly understand it. And, there's not much I can do about that. But I needed to be honest with you instead of leaving you hanging and not addressing it. I needed to cement something in a video that says that I have my ways of being a filmmaker and I'm not sharing with you what they are. All I'm sharing with you is the final product. And if that's not enough, if you were expecting more from me, I completely and totally understand if you want to walk away and not support me and call me a jagoff or whatever. Like, I can't control that. All I can do is be honest with myself and with you. And I'm telling you right now, like, two things, flat out. I do not stand for bullying. I do not stand for individual name calling and harassment and cheap fucking jokes at other people. I don't care if they're being said amongst you, like towards you guys in the comments, or if it's coming to me. I will fucking stand up for you guys the very first minute. If any of you fucking reach out to me and say, there's these group of fucking assholes that are picking on me, or they're being unjust to me, you bet your ass I would have you. I would have your side in a minute. Absolutely, I would support you guys 110%, because you know what? At the end of the day, I know what it's like being an underdog. I just do. I've been one my whole fucking life. And I've had a lot of people come and go, and they're either pleased or displeased with me. And some of them are respectfully displeasing, and the others, I've had some of the most heinous, just rude, nasty fucking things said about me in terms of my efforts as a filmmaker, my sexual orientation. Everything's been hit. And I have gone through a wave of shit since I was a little kid. So I understand that. And I do not condone that. And I'm telling you right now that I would never single any of you fucking out and make fun of you or take a cheap jab at you or be some sort of a fucking keyboard warrior and try to make I just don't, my brain doesn't operate that way. And I know that I don't ask for much. But if there's one thing that I do ask for is just don't treat people like that. I don't care. It's not just like, just in general. This has nothing to do with me right now. Like, in general, in this statement, do not fucking treat people like that. Okay? Like, I expect that this small microscopic sliver of the internet that is my YouTube channel is a place where people can feel welcomed regardless of religious, political, sexual ideology, and it doesn't matter what type of artwork you make. You know, as long as you're not hurting yourself or other people, you are fucking welcome here. And as long as you're kind and respectful to yourself and others, you are welcome here. I've always said that, but I do not stand for any harassment, whether it's towards me or others. No bullying, nothing like that. Okay? And, you know, that's just how I am. And I'm telling you right now, if I ever see any of that shit on my channel, that is the one corner of the internet that I have a little bit of fucking control over. And you best believe that nothing negative is gonna appear publicly in the comments. I sift through everything before it goes live, and I do that on principle, that this is not a free-for-all. My channel is not a fucking free-for-all. We already have enough of the internet that is. We already have enough of YouTube that is. And with the mental health crisis going on in this fucking country amongst other parts of the world, I refuse to just let my fucking comment section be a sandbox of just anybody can say anything. You can, but I'm telling you, if it's nasty, it's never going public. And if it's nastier than that, you are not going to be allowed to comment on my shit ever again. So I'm sorry to kind of be a bit of a drag today on all that, but I felt like I finally needed to address those two things. I respect each and every one of you. I truly do. And those of you that I have been able to inspire to pick up a mini DV camera or invest in a mini DV camera or start your journey or perfect your journey as a filmmaker, was not expecting that. That's honestly the greatest gift that this world could give me, more than anything. And you have no idea what it means to me. And that's why I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, I don't mean any ill will when I tell you that I'm not going to share my technical process with you guys. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to upset you guys. But I've worked really hard to achieve the tiniest, the smallest amount of success. I've worked really hard and I've sacrificed a lot of time. And something that I put that much effort into, I can't just hand it to somebody. And I don't want to monetize it either. There are people saying, well, why don't you pay for courses? Why don't you make a course and then put a paywall behind it? And it's like, I'm not selling my shit out. I'm not exploiting it like that. I'm not that type of person. But you need to understand that a lot of what keeps me going as a filmmaker, truly, is the kindness that the majority, like 99, 98% of you have shown me over the years. And a lot of you don't know it, but you've gotten me through a lot of heavy shit. And I want to thank you for that. And I'm sorry for uncomfortable crying or welting up right now. I was not expecting that, but it just struck a chord in me, I think, on the moment when it came out of my mouth. And, I don't like seeing people get hurt. I don't like seeing them getting made fun of because they're different. I feel that everybody deserves respect and that, you all have a room here on the internet to do what you want to do and create what you want to create, and you should be given the ability to do that without any negative recourse. And I know that I'm in fantasy land thinking that because that's just not the way the internet works, but it just sucks. And yeah, so I don't think there's anything else I really can say regarding that. Again, I feel really awkward. I'm sorry that I got kind of emotional there. I was not planning on that. Just know how valued you guys are to me, okay? Just understand that regardless of what I said about, my MO about sharing technical information or everything with the bullying stuff or statements made, whatever. I really do value each and every one of you. I really do. And when I get comments from you guys of, you're the reason why I got the XL2, you're the reason, I don't get one shred of arrogance or vain going on or ego in me. It just, for somebody that doesn't feel like they have a lot to offer, those comments tell me I'm wrong. So I really thank you guys. Fuck. So just don't think for 1 second that I take any of you for granted, because I don't. And if that hits, it hits. And if it doesn't hit, I can't control that, But it's true. Every fucking bit of it is true. So, now that that's out of the way, let me try to fucking compose myself here, and let's talk about the VariCam real quick. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. Maybe we shouldn't talk about the VariCam in this one, because this just got way more intense than I was expecting it to. And I'll sprinkle a little bit of information about what I wanted to talk about, and then we'll talk about it if it actually happens. So I'm looking at essentially upgrading my VariCam 35 system into a RAW recorder type scenario with the codex recorder that turns the camera into what Panasonic marketed as the VariCam Pure system. I don't know if I'm actually going to do that. I don't know if it's going to all work out, but I'm starting to move things to try to make it work. I'm very interested in working with a codex system. Just personal, I don't need it, but when if we ever needed any of the tools that we get to, the toys and tools that we get to work with, like, it's not about needing it. It's like, I have a genuine interest of learning and getting experience behind that type of equipment. And I just, it's fascinating to me. So we'll see if it happens, but I don't think you understand right now how uncomfortable I am. The fact that I still posted this video is pretty insane to me, and we'll see how long it actually lasts, but was not expecting to cry like that. But I don't think I'm really digesting the level of how important everything that I spoke about today is. And it's just kind of hitting a nerve, an emotional nerve on me. And so I guess I'm just going to close out almost 21 minutes of rambling, and hopefully, I haven't provided more comic relief, being honest with you guys, but at least to that specific gentleman. But just know that I love you guys. And like any other one of you, I go through things, I feel things. I know what it feels like to get put down. I know what it feels like to be completely degraded as a filmmaker, as a bisexual man, as an agnostic, as a politically moderate person. I've watched friends of mine, both in the arts community and non-arts community, get marginalized because of their view on the world. And I understand that it's just a part of humanity, but it's a part of humanity that I don't agree with. I am a humanitarian in the sense that I don't believe in hurting each other, hurting yourself, hurting animals. I just believe in fucking peace. I believe in just please be kind to yourself and be kind to other people. And when people such as yourself imprint inspiration and positivity messages onto me, like you guys have been so kind in doing for years, you have to respect that and don't feel like the world owes you anything, because none of you owe me the kindness that you've given me and the time that you've given me while I share my efforts as an artist to you. And while I don't aspire to be the greatest filmmaker in the world, I always aspire to be the greatest version of Michael. And that's all I can do. So with that, I'm going to stop this recording so I don't feel uncomfortable anymore. So I love you guys. I hope you can understand where I'm coming from in terms of keeping my technical process as a filmmaker to myself. And also, it should be just common sense. Don't bully people and don't say unkind things. Just try to make the world a little happier, okay? Got it. You guys have a good week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.